What's up guys, it's your favorite Kiwi coach, and give me 6 months of your time, I'll give you the best golf swing of your life. So welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new to Kiwi Golf Japan, we do a bunch of videos where we analyze PGA Tour professional golf swings. We analyze our client before and after videos. We even do videos like this where we're talking about different wrist angles that match up with the shallow swing. So if you're interested in golf instruction and the golf swing, this is the perfect channel for you, and let's go ahead and jump in. So this particular video, we will be talking about different wrist angles and how they match up to the shallow swing. A lot of you guys have that question, if I'm trying to shallow out the golf club, what wrist angles should I be using? Should I just have a flat wrist? Should I have a cup wrist, flexed wrist? Should I go like this with my wrist? What the hell should I be doing with my wrists when I'm shallowing the golf club? So if you're interested in that and that is the question you have, this is the perfect video for you, and let's go ahead and jump in. But before we get into the video, I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, and that is Kiwi Golf Japan. If you guys did not know, YouTube does not pay the bills. And if you don't want the Kiwi coach to be broke on the streets crying, please, after this video is over, check out the link down below, sign up for the Kiwi Platinum membership. It really helps support this YouTube channel. And with that out of the way, now let's get into the shallowing and wrist angles. So now the inspiration behind this particular video is I know a lot of you guys are currently searching for the shallow swing or shallowing, and you guys are probably getting to the point where you have a basic understanding of what exactly that is. However, when you are trying the motion, maybe you're duffing the golf ball, maybe you're thinning the golf ball, slicing the golf ball, hooking the golf ball, maybe shanking the golf ball. You're doing all these crazy things when you're trying to do the shallow swing. You're looking up to, maybe the shallow swing is too difficult, I shouldn't be doing it. Well, if you're asking yourself that, most likely you're missing out on one of the key movements, which is going to be how to move the wrist with the shallowing motion to be able to hit the golf ball effectively. So if you're interested in that, this is the perfect video for you. So let's start off with, for you beginners out there, what shallowing is, and then we're gonna get straight into the wrist angles you need to have to be able to do motion effectively. So now on our YouTube channel and on our membership site, we have a huge catalog of videos where we talk about this concept of shallowing, but I know some of you guys who are watching this video for the first time, you really don't know what it means. I'll give you the quick 15-second pitch on what shallowing is. So shallowing is typically defined from position 4 to position 5, which just means from the top of swing to about halfway down. It's a transition move. And typically most people think about it as the club shaft kind of moving this way or kind of flattening, or maybe the club shaft in general just lowering like this. One of those two options is typically what most people are talking about when they're talking about shallowing. That's the 15-second pitch. Now let's get into wrist angles. Now, when most people think about wrist angles when it comes to shallowing and which wrist angles you should do, they typically think about flexion and extension, which would be flexion, this move right here, extension, this move right here. However, when it comes to shallowing, there's also other moves like uncocking the wrist, right? Ulnar deviation or radial deviation, and then also a supination move and a pronation move. There's more wrist angles than just this flexion and extension, and really which wrist angles you need to focus on or do is hyper relative to what issue you are currently having when you're attempting to shallow. So the way we structured out this particular video is we're going to go over issues like a shank, which will be the first one we talk about, or maybe a hook, which might be other ones we talk about. And then from there, we'll talk about common wrist angle issues we see you guys do when you have those issues, and then which wrist angles you should do to fix them. So let's start out with the shank, and we're going to talk about what wrist angles are typically occurring when you are shanking the golf ball when you're trying to shallow. So now when it comes to shallowing and when it comes to hitting a shank, this is going to be the more common issue I see with wrist angles when you guys are hitting a shank while trying to shallow. So typically you guys are able to get the club shaft to start to flatten like this. But the issue is as you continue to flatten all the way down into impact, you're going to see the club head get really far behind the hands at this point in the golf swing, which we define as position 6. From here, this right wrist is going to go from this extended position to more of a flatter position in this section of the swing. And as you can see, that throws the club head out towards the ball. And then if you do it too much, the heel aligns to the ball, and then you shank the golf ball. So really the issue, the wrist angle issues are, from the top of the swing, as you're shallowing, you're basically going with this left wrist and doing too much of this for too long. So this would be called pronation when the palm is down towards the sky. That is occurring for too much, too long. And then because of that, this right wrist has to massively move out of this extended position into a more straight position, and that would be causing you to hit the heel strike. This would be by far the most common shank we see when people are trying to shallow the golf club. So when it comes to the fix, it's actually quite simple. Well, all we need to have less of is, we need to have less of this pronation move, this motion, when the hands are at this point in the golf swing, which is close to the top, all the way down to kind of hip high. We want to have less of that motion. And if anything, actually, what you see the best players do is typically when the arms get about lead arm parallel on the downswing or halfway down, you actually see the wrist actually move towards supination and move the club head out towards the golf ball earlier. That would be the steepening move we talked about in the past. So more so of this motion as the grip is kind of going diagonally out and then around back towards your body. That will move the club head out towards the golf ball earlier, which then in turn makes the club head swing back inwards earlier, and then it's going to align to the golf ball and hit the sweet spot as opposed to the other one. So if you didn't catch that, really the main fix is let's minimize this pronation move for that period of time. And if anything, maybe just have a little bit of it early in this backswing, or sorry, excuse me, downswing. And then right around position 5, actually start to do the opposite motion, get that club head to move out, and then from there, the club head will start to move in earlier, and you're gonna get rid of the shank when you're shallowing out the golf club. Now, the other type of shank that occurs when you're shallowing the golf club is much more rare. I don't see so many of you guys do this, but what happens is you get the club shaft to shallow, but then from here, that steepening move we just talked about, you actually start to do the motion too much, and then the club head moves too far out towards the golf ball. And then from here, it doesn't go across the ball enough, so the hosel of the club aligns to the ball, and then you shank it that way. Again, this is much, much more rare, but it does occur, so let's talk about it. And the main issue is, I just kind of said it, the supination amount from this position, which is P5 to about P6, typically the amount that you do is too much in that section, and that gets the club head too far out towards the golf ball, and that will make it very difficult to pull the club back in to align to the sweet spot. Hence, you can shank it from that position. So now when it comes to the fix for this particular shank when you're shallowing the golf club, really simply, all you have to do is the amount of supination needs to be less than it was before from position 5 to position 6. It's really that simple. Now, feel-wise, some of you guys out there who are doing this quite a lot, you actually might need to feel like this angle that you have at position 5, that you try to keep that all the way into the golf ball, because that would make you hit it more so off the toe if you did do that. But for the most part, you guys are gonna be mainly probably just feeling less of the steepening, and you'll probably be okay. But if you're more of a severe case, you might need to feel like you keep the angle at position 5 and then never let the club head move out towards the ball as a feel, not real. And that would make sure that you probably don't hit it off the heel and get that shank anymore. That would be the fix, right? So it's gonna be in that supination amount and how you manage that. So on this point of the video, we're gonna be talking about a hook, right? What if I'm trying to shallow out the golf club and I'm hitting a hook? What wrist angle should I have? So if you're asking yourself that question, the first thing you should be looking at, all right, that's it for you guys on YouTube, but before you guys click off the video, let me give you some quick wrap up points. So I think the main, most important point is, you probably hear a lot of videos, you should be flexing your wrist or extending your wrist, and that's pretty much the bulk of the video. However, as you can tell, there are 6 wrist conditions, and all of them are going to be used throughout the golf swing. And when it comes to flexion and extension, they might be important for curvature, but maybe when it comes to more so contact, they might not be as important as the other 4 wrist conditions. So when you're thinking about what wrist conditions I should be doing for shallowing the golf club, make sure to match it up to your current issue that you're struggling with, and then apply the correct wrist angles that we talked about in this particular video to those issues. Now, if you wanted to watch the whole video and you couldn't get access to the whole video, well then sign up for the Kiwi Platinum membership. Not only do you get access to this video, you get access to a bunch of other videos. I think it's like 270 plus videos at this point, and you get to help support the Kiwi Code so I'm not broke on the streets, right? That's a good benefit as well. Also check out the Kiwi Code 6-month program. Other than that, like, comment, subscribe, share all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next video.